Want people give them. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another week of Swerve with me. This is a show where we have adult conversations for mature audiences only. Of course, I'm your host, Miranda Innes, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you to come on in and to join us tonight. As you come in, be sure that you share the live stream. Be sure that you like our page. Be sure that you let somebody know that we are going to have an interesting conversation tonight. This conversation, I do believe, is going to shock some, inspire others, encourage others. So as you come in, type in somebody's name, let them know you want to hear LaShanti's story and share this broadcast and like it because Swerve is on the air. If any of you have seen my post, this past week has been completely challenging a week for me physically because after I had my first conversation with tonight's guest, I literally lost my voice. I lost my voice and I didn't have a cold. There was absolutely nothing wrong with me, and there still isn't anything wrong with me. And she herself will tell you about some pains and different things that she experienced. But after experiencing these uncommon and unnatural situations, I suddenly realized that the enemy was trying to stop the show. He was trying to definitely shut my mouth so that I wouldn't be able to even speak tonight. But lost again. Ain't nothing happening for him. Good night to my dear friend Shami. Thanks for coming, stopping by. So I want to introduce you to LaShanti Bain-Duncombe. LaShanti, when I interviewed her, one of the first things she said to me was a line from The Color Purple, and she said, "All my life I've had to fight." Anybody who's watched The Color Purple will totally be familiar with that particular line because it speaks to the life that she's battled with and has overcome to some great extent. And I want to introduce you to LaShanti Bain-Duncombe. She's a newlywed, by the way. She got married on Valentine's Day just 2 months ago. So she brand new, even though she's been married before, but she's a brand new newlywed. And I want you to help me welcome tonight to Swerve with me, my beautiful guest, LaShanti Bain. Good evening, LaShanti.
Good evening. Good evening. Good to be
It's,
here. Thank you for having me.
listen, LaShanti, your story is going to blow some people's minds tonight. I came across LaShanti um, when I saw a post that she made, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, and I read it. I said to myself, LaShanti is the reason I do what I do. She is exactly the person that I created this platform for. Somebody who has overcome some challenges and they're not afraid to show their scars and speak their truth. And speak her truth, she did. Listen, speak her truth,
Yes,
she
yes,
did.
yes, yes,
So, Nishanti,
yes.
the first thing you said to me is all your life you had to fight.
Oh
You
my.
came from a background where both of your parents were drug addicts.
Yes, yes,
Both of your
yes,
parents were drug
yes,
addicts.
ma'am. Yes.
That's not normal. That's not normal. Maybe one or the other, but both of your parents. So, in your earliest recollections, tell me what was life like with parents who were drug addicts?
Well, from what I know or can remember is my parents wasn't when my mommy had me or my parents wasn't together. You know, he was doing his thing and she was doing her thing, but she had me and my sister and my older sister, and we lived with her, and she was living with her mother. She was living with her mother, and from there she went to live on her own, and basically we were like from my auntie her sister's house and this one house and the next one house, for a period of time, and back in the day they would party and stuff like that because me as a young child, me and my sister, we seen a lot. We've been around a lot,
Mhm.
and people will be like, how you know this, BJ? We've been around. We know when people on drugs, we know what they do when they on drugs and stuff, and and stuff like that. And even when she moved to another apartment or whatever, it was across the road from my grandmother,
Mhm.
and me and my sister were there, and people was it was in this apartment, in this complex. There's only one door that everyone comes in, and it's like 3 or 4 or 5 rooms.
Mhm.
So my mom had a room, I can remember, inside that place. So basically, we'll be there. She had all her shortcomings, and she would go out and do party, do our thing, bring our friends in with us being there and stuff like that. Me and my sister, but we normally we stick together, you know,
Mhm.
because a lot, and then until my grandmother and her husband, they came and they took us in
Yeah.
to live
So
with
what how old were you seeing the ins and outs, seeing being in that kind of environment where you saw a lot of drug addicts and
them. Right.
other activities going on? At what point did your grandmother step in?
My
And
grandma, she stepped in, like, I think we were like, if I could remember, because we was with her a majority of our lives. So I could say even from a younger age, like 3, 4, something like that, because we was with her.
Mhm.
That's all we basically know, is
Mhm.
that, hey, we basically, instead of her being our grandmother, we call her, she was like a mom to us. So
Mhm.
we was with her basically all our life, from
And
what
your
what
grandmother
we know.
was a Christian woman, a
My,
woman of the word, who
yeah,
made sure, as in many
yeah,
Christian homes in the Bahamas, that you didn't have a choice. You went to church
ye-
every Sunday, whether you wanted
yes,
to or not.
yes, every
What
Sunday.
was that? What was that like?
Well, my grandmother was a reverend, and she took us into our home, and which, and we were, me and my sister, we were happy because, we get to be with our cousins, and basically our kids was our aunt. Even the younger ones was our aunt, and me and my sister was older than them, and to be in a home with my aunt, and cousins, and those, it was very, we enjoyed it, because we say now, at least we have a bed to sleep in. We don't have to sleep on the floor, because with our mommy we had to sleep on the floor,
Mhm.
basically, sleep on the floor, and with our grandmother, she made sure that we had a bed to sleep in. She did what a grandmother do. She make sure we went to church not even just on Sundays. We go to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day of the week. The church was having something, we were in there. We were there.
Wow. If
We
you're
were
just joining us, good night to everybody. Bimini is watching, I can tell you that much. I'm talking to LaShanti Bain-Duncombe, one of your own. And we're going to take the journey. Some of you are going to hear things you may think you know Shanti, but you're
there.
going to hear some things that you've never known before. Your big sis, Cleo Bain, she says she's here, right
Yeah.
here for you. Good
Tell
night
her
to you.
share. Tell her share, because she know my life. I must say, she know my life, so she
She
can
knows your
she can
life.
make
So
sure and say, yes, Shanti, yes, what she's talking is the truth.
is the truth.
Yes.
So brace yourselves, some of you, because we're going down a journey. Remember, I said this is a show where we have adult conversations. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the squeamish.
My
And if
God,
you
Jesus.
little touchy and
My
use catch feelings easily and stuff, you may not want to stay with us for the whole show, because Ashanti is going to speak her truth. And so
God.
you lived with your grandmother, and
Yeah,
you and your sister moved in when you were very young, and your grandmother played that role of a
yeah,
nurturer, and she made sure that you were trained
yes,
in the ways of God by going to church and the Sunday school and the prayer meetings and the Bible studies. I know, but all
yes,
that stuff in
yes,
between. If she had to go to a choir practice, you had to be there too.
yes, yes,
Yada yada
yes,
yada, so
ma'am.
on and so forth. I
Yes,
understand that completely. But even in the midst of all that protective custody, you were molested by a family member.
yes.
What are you, what's your memory of that? And how long did that last?
Well, my grandmother, well, she used to travel a lot. She was basically even though she was a reverend, she was a missionary. She traveled around the world a lot, and she left us in the home even with my aunt. I had like an older aunt. She'd already died, and so after two of them that normally be in the house with us, they already died. So basically she leave us there, and basically I had a family member that was living there but was on drugs, and at night and stuff, it was me, my sister, and two of my other younger aunts would be there basically in the room. And it's like I used to be afraid to even go to my bed at night, and sometimes my grandmother, she wouldn't understand why you want the bathroom light to stay on and stuff like that. But I never told her why, because at that age, you don't know how to say something even with him, but knowing that he's a family member. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? I didn't know how to come out and say it. And normally he will come in the room at night, and he will come to the bed where I is, and he'll take off my underwear, and he'll just he never had sex with me, but he will fondle, play with me with his fingers
mhm,
and stuff like that. And this happened like off and on for like basically a few years. And my younger aunts and my never knew, didn't have a clue, because they were younger, or normally they were asleep. And like I
mhm,
told people, people say, even some people say is, well, they might be figuring out where they was, or where they was. You know what I mean? But let me tell you something: when a thief come for something, nobody to see them. There's a thief. I
mhm.
don't care. He will crawl on the floor. And the only way I knew that he was coming in the room is because the door would open, and the bathroom light was shining. Normally I wanted the bathroom light on, so the bathroom light could tell me when he coming in. And he would never come walk in big and bold. He would go on the ground. He would crawl
Wow.
on the ground until he get to where I was. You know, and I
So how old were you when this was
well,
happening or
I
this
big
began?
for my memory, as I think back and remember now, I think I was about 12, maybe
Mhm,
12, 12,
mhm,
13, and at that age, something like that, you can't forget. You will never
mhm,
forget. You know what I mean? So I don't even want my family to think that, oh, she just looking for attention, or she just why she just saying this now. But God gave this the time God allow me to talk it now. Back then
So so as a so as a pre-adolescent, you were experiencing this molestation. Was
yeah.
there anybody that you trusted to tell? And how did that impact you in school, your behavior?
Well, nobody, no, I didn't tell anybody. But my sister, my sister knew. She knew, because she see little movement and little stuff. She knew, and basically back then she was the only person that I really cling to, back then, because even in the home, it was a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes I used to wet the bed, and they never knew, because I used to get up in the nighttime, either change the sheet, change my underpants, my underpants and everything,
Mhm.
and they never know none of this. You know
Right.
what I mean? They see me lashing out and stuff. I went to school because I had to went to school. I had to go to school.
Mhm.
I didn't even have no mind for school. I didn't want to be in school. I didn't
From
want
12, so from this early at 12,
to. Yes,
did you act out? Did you get in fights or anything at school?
well, I was never. I wouldn't. I wouldn't get in a lot of fights, but I was with some friends that always was into drama and stuff like that. And sometime by me being there, my name will call. I'll get in trouble, and whatever they into, I into. When I when
Mhm.
I first when I first when I first got boy control, one of my friends give it to me, turn me on to it. You know what I
How
mean?
old were you? How old were you at
I
the
was
time?
like, I was like, I was like 13, 14 when I first was introduced to birth control.
But you
Basically,
weren't even you weren't sexually active at
but
13
no,
years.
I was not sexually active, but just in case, you're experimenting back and you're experimenting on things. And once the kids, whatever my friends them do, I would do whatever they was into. Shanti was
Mhm.
there. I was into it. I'll
So
get a lot of problems.
did you start taking it? Like, did you start
Yeah,
taking it?
I started taking it one time, I started to feel, I started to be sick. I started to get sick, so I said, this
So,
ain't for me. That wasn't for me. I
so
didn't even try it.
even though you were having challenges in school, and didn't really want to be in school, you were athletic. You were athletic, and you had an opportunity to represent your island, Bimini Strong,
Yeah,
and go to the Bahamas games, which at that
yeah,
time was being held in the capital,
yeah.
Nassau,
Yes, ma'am.
Providence.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and you had a traumatic experience there that changed your life forever.
Yes, yes,
Let's talk a
ma'am.
little bit about your experience at the age of 15, I believe it was.
Yeah, 14, yeah, 14, 15, yeah.
Okay.
Well, basically, we normally play softball. Me and my sister, we normally is on the softball team, and they asked for us to go to the Bahamas game. And my grandmother, she didn't she was gonna let my sister go because she was a better player than I was. She was letting her go, but she didn't want me to go. She really didn't want me to go. And she finally, as a child, you cry and whatever, you say, man, I want to go. And she let me go. And when I went, I was supervised by one of my older cousins. I was supervised with her, and she had me and my sister in the room with her, with another cousin of our own, because we were one family. And we went, me, we lose a few games, and at the end of the last game we lost, and everybody wanted to go to the party. So our chaperone, she didn't want us to go. She didn't want us to go. She said, if you go, don't come back in this room. Now I didn't, it was that on you, because I went, I got drunk. Gin and ginger ale, I'll never forget. Got little mini skirt, got drunk.
Wait a minute. Slow down, slow down. So, had you started drinking prior to you going to the Bahamas game, or that was your first time drinking, getting drunk?
No, not I would sneak a little beer on, my grandfather, my grandmother husband, he used to have a little drink, little beers and things. I would sneak a little drink here and there and smoke a little cigarette, teeth a
Mhm.
cigarette, and smoke that. So even going to the Bahamas game, drinking wasn't nothing new to me, because me and my friends, them, we would do it. We would do it, and just do our own thing. So even being in the Bahama game, being there in Nassau, went out to the club with a couple of the players, and me, I in the club, I listen, I got that club to turn up. That's what I do. I always see myself as as an entertainer. I
Mhm.
told people, I say, listen to me, I supposed to be a porn star. That
A
that's what I
porn.
that's what I always wanted to be. I wanted to be in porn. I wanted to be a stripper. One
Okay.
time, me,
Wait a minute. Wait. Slow. Don't go too fast. You were having these thoughts as a teenager. Are you talking about as an adult woman?
as a teenager, as a teenager,
Okay.
as a teenager, I always, because I knew I was failing every class in school. Every class I was failing, even down to religion, knowing
But
that my
you were failing because you wasn't even trying,
wasn't
or
interested.
you were trying but just couldn't get it.
I
Which
couldn't
one?
get I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand it. I didn't really want to understand it. I was frustrated. I just wanted to do my own thing.
Now, in hindsight, do you believe that was because of what had happened to you, the molestation from that young?
Well, I think that's a part of I think that's a part of it,
Mhm.
because knowing that you have to go home, and knowing that, a fear of when night come, of what would happen when night come, you know.
Mhm.
Um so all of that, really, I just didn't care no more. Honestly, I just didn't care.
So you're in Nassau partying, after the Bahamas games and whatever, and what happens?
Well, something went down inside the hotel that we were living in, and one of the girls of the team, they invited another guy in the room with us and they were drunk. Them two, the two girls, they was in the bed together, and normally they had another roommate, but she didn't sleep there. So they tell me, well, you can sleep in this bed since she ain't here, because my cousin that was chaperoning us, she wouldn't let me inside the room. So she told me, well, you can lay in this bed, with us, with since it's empty.
Mhm,
And she had a cousin that was in a little situation, and she put him in the bed with me. Now me, I'm drunk, but I'm still alert, because here it is. I'm in a bed with a man. I'm in a bed with a man. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Not knowing what could happen, and then not knowing that what already happened to me before. With my uncle or whatever, family member or whatever. And just what I was afraid of happening happened. You know,
mhm,
basically, I never had sex. I never had sex, and basically, he forced himself on me,
mhm,
and he did what he wanted. He did what he wanted to do. I was drunk, and it was very traumatic to me, because having to try to fight someone off, and they holding your mouth and they pinning you down, and it's done your first time.
mhm.
Having sex, it really had me traumatized, and I passed out.
Mm.
I passed out.
So when you woke up the next day, or whatever that was, first of all, did you tell any? Did anybody else in the room know what happened? Did you tell anybody? Did you tell the person who was chaperoning you?
Well, I didn't tell anyone, but the two ladies that was in the room with me, they knew something happened, because um they saw some evidence of something that was really, shocking to them, that, because one of them was like, what you do? What you do? And it's nothing that I did, nothing that I did, but it happened. You know what I mean? And basically, well, she alarmed everybody. I don't know if people who were there could remember the story, but she alarmed most of the people, and then, from there, it just went on.
So so no adults knew about it because everybody around you were teenagers just like you.
Basic,
And no,
basically, basically,
yeah,
they were a
so
little
no,
older. Some of them were a little older than me. They were a little older, because it was
okay,
like a all ages team. So,
okay.
mhm,
So so you go back to Bimini. You return home a victim, a
right,
rape victim,
exactly.
and and you don't even tell your grandmother or no family members, and you
Nobody,
keep the secret.
no,
You
no
keep this
one
secret.
told no one. And I mean, maybe when I got older, I share it with one or two people, but no one really knew. You
As
know,
a
so
teenager.
this.
So you go back to school,
Mhm,
obviously, and
mhm.
are you at any point replaying that scene in your mind as you're at
Exactly.
school, as you're home, whatever?
Yes, exactly. Because it just got with me. It just got worse. Things just got worse. I used to, even when I went to school, I used to get a lot of problems. A lot of problems. The principal say, "You again? You in this office again?" You know, and I didn't care. I didn't care if you could suspend me. I don't care. When it come to a point where me and one of my friends, me and her was at, we basically was, that was like ride or die with me and her. And she was seeing someone, an older guy and stuff like that, and he would give her money. He would give her money for lunch. She'll take me with her. He'll take us to. He'll tell her, well, give her. I talking about not even hundreds of dollars, $1,000. So go to the jewelry store
As a
on
teenager, as a
as a
teen,
teenager. He'll tell her, go to the jewelry store and you pick out whatever what you want. She pick out a Rolex. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh boy, we in the money now. You know what I mean?
but you two are still. little high school girls.
Yeah, we still were high school girls, and we basically did we did our own thing. And it come a time when the guy told her, he called her and tell her if I give her a cell phone, and I was like, you got this man again, you all these things. Well, I can hang on to you, cause hey, I could be in the clique with you,
Mm.
since I done, hey, I don't have nothing else, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back home. I don't want to be home, And he invited her. He sent a charter plane, and he tell us to be on the flight. We sneak from school, and we jump on that plane, and we was gone. We were
And where did
gone.
you go?
Nassau.
First of all, how old were you when this happened, and where
Yeah.
did you go?
Well, when that happened, I was like 40. I was like 14,
This was
15.
after the Bahamas Games incident.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So you were still around about 14,
Yeah,
15.
yeah.
And
So
where did you go?
we went to Nassau, and he booked a hotel for us, the Princess Towers. Back then it was the Princess Towers. He booked a room for us, and we stayed like a week, just in there partying, drinking, smoking, doing our own thing.
Wait a minute. First of all, Princess House is in Grand Bahama, so it couldn't have been
Not, I
Princess
mean,
House.
yeah, it
So you
was
was in Nassau or Grand Bahama?
it was in
Which one?
Nassau. It was in Nassau.
Okay, so
It
some
was
hotel in
yeah,
Nassau.
yeah.
Okay. But wait a minute. You just left. Y'all two just randomly went away. Your parents, grandparents, nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
And you stayed away for an entire week
The entire week.
and you never called home.
Nope. Didn't
Okay.
call home. She didn't call home. You know, we just was doing our we just was doing us. We just was doing us.
What was it like when you got back
Well,
home?
this it was bad because the police, the police, they called the police, they called the social workers,
Mhm.
they called everybody, and Bimini was alarmed with that, and my grandmother, she was furious. She was furious. She normally a person that talks and lecture, and she's not a person that beats and
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I think I got beaten that time, but it didn't really matter to me. It didn't matter because I already did what I had to do. I already had a good time, so I didn't really care.
So this attitude of I don't care, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. Do you think that's directly to related to the fact that you were violated?
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
most definitely, most definitely.
And so you doing what you wanted to do was a way of you gaining control of
Yes,
your life, make your
yes,
own choices.
yes, yes,
It's not that you wouldn't do. So you go back to school after this week away in Nassau partying. What's it like? Do you remember like what the kids in school were saying? Because of course everybody probably heard about it.
yeah, right. Well, some of the kids was like, "Man," they was shocked, and they was like, "Oh, Some was excited, say, "Y'all do all of that?" We tell them what we did and stuff like that. And some of them some parents didn't even want their kids even around us, and
Right.
anymore and stuff like that. So basically, and then you know, me and her, even her family didn't want me and her together no more. So that was, it was just a little pulling. So again, basically between what was happening at home, what happened when I went to the Bahamas games, and now what happened with my friend, it was just
So
and
you
it
just
just
follow this reckless behavior of
yeah,
doing
yeah,
whatever you want when you want to do it.
yes.
Uh, and how did that? Were you able to continue in school and graduate? What happened throughout your high school career?
Things really, I wasn't doing nothing in school. Basically, I wasn't doing nothing. I was basically the class clown, always making jokes, always doing something that to make the teacher mad or whatever. And eventually when I got in the 10th grade, you know I don't know how I got in the 10th grade yet, but I know I was in there. I think they was passing me just to get rid of me, I think.
Mhm.
And literally, my grandmother, she sent me to Freeport to go live with a family friend. And when I got there, and then I wanted to go anyhow because my sister had already left. So that was she was basically the closest thing to me. And after she left, I started to get in a little depression and stuff like little things like that. And when I get over there where she was, I was more excited, and but then she was doing her schoolwork, and then she had a her boyfriend. So basically she was still a little distance from me, and we
Mhm.
live in two different places. So,
Okay.
and
So, did you ever adjust to being in Freeport, new environment, new school?
never got a just because when I left to go to school, I used to go to school. Basically, the person that I was living with, I didn't know my way around. We had to catch the bus, and her daughter would literally leave me, to defend for myself, and catching the bus and walking home and stuff like that. And I had a granddad that lived in Freeport, and I had his number. And normally, sometime I'll call him to come take me to school or pick me up from school or something like that, because basically I was over there basically on my own. And I had to be excited to go to school in the mornings to know that my sister there. And it come the time at this one point in time as when I went to school, they telling me my sister didn't come to school that day. And I was fearful, because I said, now who would defend for me? But I knew a couple other people from Bimini that was in the school, and I started to feel bad. So I think I was just homesick. I think I was homesick or something. And the the teacher, she said, she told me to go to the guidance counselor. And when I went there, they told me that they said, why are you feeling bad? I say, I don't know. I just sick. I thinking, like I thinking it's because I homesick,
Mhm.
or catch a little bug or something. And one of my friends from Bimini, she was like, she was there. She's like, she said, Shanti, you think you may be pregnant? I was like, no, I didn't thought of that. At my age, I wasn't thinking like that.
And you
And
were 15 at the time?
yeah, yeah. And she's like, Shanti, man, you may be pregnant. You sure you won't go here? Go there? And I say, no, man. I say, I don't want to go. She say, okay, let me call my brother. She called her brother, and her brother came and picked us up. And I left school, and thank God, like a couple of days for a couple of days down, it was around midtime. And I never went back, because after when it was midtime, um, I went back home. I went,
Okay.
I went, I went back home. I already found out that I was pregnant.
So, how did you find out you were pregnant?
Well, my friend, we take a test.
A home pregnancy
Yeah.
test.
And I found out that I was pregnant.
So, at 15, you find out you're pregnant. Are you freaking out? I mean, what's going on in your young mind?
I think my only with my mind is my grandmother. I said she's gonna kill me. I say I didn't know how to tell her, just moving around the house. But back in the day, them older people, they know when something is wrong, and they know. And I finally, because she started to, I guess it got out, and she started to hear news that I was pregnant, and she came and she asked me about it, and I told her, well, yeah, or whatever, and I thought it was gonna really be bad with her. I thought she really was go put me out, or really, she did what she always do. She just lecture me, tell me the word of God, saying she don't believe in abortion, and she was like, "You're not the first, and you're not gonna be the last."
So, did you know who you were impregnated by?
Basically, even even when I came back from the Bahamas game, I still was promiscuous and still going out and having sex with someone. So even when I found out I was pregnant, basically I couldn't say who it was, at that point in time. But even when I think back and stuff, I was like, it could be, it could be either or. But at the end of the day, I knew who I went with, who the last person I went with. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really when I told the guy that I was pregnant, that was really, oh my God, that was another heartbreak because first thing he say it his own, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So now here it is. Now I going through something else. Now I in another situation, you know, I in another situation where I'm pregnant and the man saying that he is on,
And you're a teenager.
and I'm a teenager.
So
Couldn't
how were
finish
you
school.
coping with that day to day? I obviously you had the support of your grandmother,
Yes,
but
yes.
but how were you coping with that day to day?
Well, did I really wasn't. I mean, thank God I had friends like, you know, I was really leaning on, or I had a cousin that I'll go by her house and I'll sit up most of the day and, you know, and just laugh and talk. But that still didn't change that the situation was there, you know. And I have 9 months to carry this baby by
Mhm.
myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though when I say by myself, I mean without a man saying it's his own. And he had at that time he had a girlfriend, and she would just every time she see me, she'll basically uh stop me on, you need to go find out who you're pregnant for. You know what I mean? And she stopped me one day and she was like, oh, he say you're on pregnant for him. So I told her, I said, well, how could I be pregnant for him if he told you he never sleep with me? First of
Mhm.
all, so why you keep bothering me if he already told you he never slept with me? So it
So
can't
you
be.
are a bold little
Oh
teenager.
yeah. I had one friend there, God rest her soul. Listen, yeah. We were bold. And she'll take up for me. And if you were gonna fight, she gonna fight.
Mhm. So you the pregnancy day to day was relatively normal. Were you doing your prenatal care and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I would go on to my prenatal and everything, but that still didn't stop me from trying to get rid of it. To try to get rid of it because if anybody know what being pregnant, especially a teenager, that's a lot. That's a lot mentally. Mentally, it's a lot. And,
Mhm.
it, and I was more depressed at the time that I would drink. I would still go out pregnant, party, hoping
Mhm.
that hey, I fall down, something happened for me to get rid of this baby because I knew I couldn't do it by myself.
Mhm.
You know,
So how far into the pregnancy did you finally come to grips with the fact I'm pregnant and this baby ain't going nowhere? I need to like pretty much mature and just get myself settled to have this baby.
like 4 months when I was like 4 months,
Mhm.
I say, well, this happening because the baby ain't going nowhere. Don't care what I do, don't care what I drink, don't care. It wasn't going anywhere. So I just had to make up my mind that hey, well, you want to finish school. I wasn't even halfway in the 10th grade when I had to leave. When I had
Wow.
to just leave school. So
Hmm.
basically, yeah, I'm done. Gonna be a teenage mother with no high school education,
Hmm.
no father. The daddy ain't on the baby. My
Hmm.
daddy was on drugs. My mommy basically she had other children she was dealing with. So basically, other than my grandmother, and she'll go like I say, she'll be on trips, missions, and stuff like that, and she'll leave me. We'll be home and stuff. But literally, it was like I had nobody basically.
So you have to grow up fast. You have to
Very fast,
literally grow
very fast,
like
very fast.
so.
Yeah.
So you have the baby and you have a healthy baby.
Yes, ma'am.
And how is your life from that point on? The focus? Are you still in that frame of mind where you just wanted to party, or did it click? I'm a mother now. I need to make some changes.
Nope. Still had my baby and partying, still partying. Some nights I would drug my baby up and leave her in the bed by herself, jump out through the window and go and
What
go.
do you mean drug her up? You mean like give her what? Like that? What you
Oh,
call it?
well, back in the day, diamond tap. Diamond
Okay.
tap was a thing, and I used to give her a little over, and she would sleep, and I would jump out the window and go do what I gotta do and come back. Even though my grandmother to catch me, but like I say, I didn't party. I'll meet her in the room with the baby, and stuff like that. And she'll, like I say, she'll lecture me, tell me the word of God. I didn't want to hear that,
Mm-hmm.
literally, because I think in this God, I say in literally my head, I like you telling me about this God and all these things happening to me. Why it ain't happening to somebody else? Why it ain't happening to somebody else in the family? Why all these things just happening to me? What I do, and that's the point that I was to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, on like
So,
basically
so the rest of your teen years, you never went back. Did you go back to high school?
never,
So you never went back to high
never
school.
went back, never.
And so, at what age did you start working? Because you
Well,
now you have a baby but you were too young to work.
yeah, well, when I was I started when I was 17. My grandmother, she's like, I'll watch the baby, but you have to find something to do. And I started working in my little store, bringing in a couple of dollars, and when she keep the baby and stuff, I'll give her a little something. But like she say, just take care of the baby, make sure the baby good. Long as you working, I'll help you with the baby,
Mhm.
and that's what she did.
Okay, so you're raising the baby, and you're still partying and just trying to, I guess, just live your life the way
And
how you see fit, until that you thought you were in control of your life.
exactly, exactly. And, just trying to make ends meet to make sure my baby got what it need. And, so my grandmother wouldn't have to, I didn't want her to have to really carry the burden of buying and stuff. So she would help me buy, but, I'll
Mhm.
try to do it myself, even if I have to go there, sneak out there, sleep with somebody, get one couple of dollars. Hey, that's what it is. It is what it is.
No, slow down. You just kind of slipped that right in there. You said if you had to go out,
Yeah.
sleep with somebody, get a couple dollars. So, in other words, you were like, "Hey, whatever it takes, that's what I'm going to do. I
Yes.
have to take care of this baby."
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I mean, some people would call that prostitution, by the way.
Well, it is what it was then.
Uh,
That's what it
So,
is.
so you eventually marry for the first time at what age?
I married when I was 25, but I had two other kids.
Two other kids. So, what
Yeah.
were the circumstances? How old were you when you had your second child?
When I had my second child, I was 17.
Okay, so that was like what, a year, a little year and a half in
But
between.
the three of my kids were a year apart. Yeah.
Okay,
I had them like 91, 92, 93. All my
okay.
children are in the 90s. They're 90s
Were
baby.
were you in a relationship with their fathers, the other two? Well,
Well,
definitely not the first one,
no, no,
but the other two.
no relationship with the first one, no relationship with the second one. The second one is just sex every time he ready, or when or if he have the money, I got the time,
Hmm.
But eventually, I end up falling for him, falling in love with him, but he wasn't really interested. He just wanted the sex. But I was
Okay.
more looking forward to a father for my kids. I always was like that, wanted someone that will take the role of, you know, being a father. I always wanted to be a family because my grandmother always taught us, you know what I mean, about family and how to take care of your spouse. And I watch her with her husband and stuff like that. So she trained us in that area where when you get grown and you get married, you have to take care of your spouse and your
Hmm.
children, you know. So
So the second one, you did not. You wanted a relationship. He didn't.
he didn't.
So the third guy, with your third child, was this a relationship?
Yes, when I my third um the third guy was a relationship. He's like 10 years older than me.
Okay.
He was
And
10 years older than me.
was it something, a relationship that you thought was leading toward marriage at the time?
Yes, because eventually we got married.
Okay, so this is the one you got married at 25.
The first one, yes.
Okay, so what was that like? What was the marriage like? And uh,
Well, with him.
Hmm.
Well, the marriage. Oh wow! It started off even before we got married. It was rough. It was rough because um my dream was even getting married. We had a big wedding, and I wanted my family, all my family was always supportive of me. So my
Hmm.
family was supportive. I had all my family there, all my cousins, my aunts, whoever could have come was there. But even when my first husband, um he didn't he didn't know how to tell his mommy that we were getting married,
Why?
and
Why not?
because he knew what she would have said, you know. I don't know. I didn't know
And
if
what was that? Don't go so fast. So, what was she upset, or what did he think?
well, I guess she probably was thinking what everybody else was thinking. That's who you getting married to because he was from a well-known family. You know what I mean? And they were like, you know, that's who you getting married to. She done got two children, and they probably didn't hear about me being here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
So as a mother, I wasn't the woman. I wasn't the right woman for him.
Okay. Okay. But you married anyway,
Yep. We,
despite
mhm.
despite the opposition. And what was your life like day to day with your husband and your three
Well,
kids?
we finally when we got married, and it's like um I think from the second day, it was like because even when we went on honeymoon or we went to a hotel and whatever, we went to a hotel that night, and basically when I got up in the morning he was gone. Who does that on your honeymoon? I got up, he was gone. And but then I was like, oh boy, there's a red flag, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
and we
Okay,
finally
pause right there. How long did you know him before you married him?
basically 10 years, off and on 10 years.
10 years. Okay. And then on the honeymoon, the day after the honeymoon,
And morning, yeah,
that morning, you wake up, he's gone.
gone.
Where was he?
Well, when I went home, I saw him ride with some of his friends. I saw him riding with his friends, so I gone to the place where we were staying, and I started to organize a few stuff, and it's like coming home and think, oh, it was like a problem, and then he used to have a ex girlfriend. He used to have her bringing sending him food, and you know what he is like. He basically from early in our marriage, it was just, oh my god.
So was he like disconnected? Even though you were married, it was like he was disengaged,
Ex-
disconnected. It was
exactly.
just like just another day in life, and he just kind of picked up and left. So you never really had that whole honeymoon, let's stay
Nope.
together. We don't want to leave each other's side
Right, right,
type
right.
experience.
But one thing I could say was that my daughter and my son, my two daughters and my son, he would make sure that he will, even if he do for them, but it's just that he was more neglecting me,
Okay.
because basically my children basically call him that was their daddy. That was their
Mhm.
daddy until he died. I
Okay.
could
Let
I
me
could
just
tell.
pause. I'm just going to read a couple comments. There's too many for me to read, but Tamika Brown says she's a darling and her life was always an open book. Um, Takara Charlton Strawn says beauty for ashes. Mia LaFrance says, LaShanti, your story will free many. Even though we grew up together, your strength never ceases to amaze me. God bless you, sis. And Joba Mandez says, this lady is really being so transparent. God bless you. So as we continue the story, so you married, and how long did you stay married to him? And what was the final straw that you decided or he decided we don't need to be together anymore?
Well, we wasn't even married a year
But you'd been
before.
together 10 years
Yeah.
prior to the
Yep.
actual. Okay.
Yes, we wasn't even married a year because basically he started doing his own thing. He started doing his own thing, and after a while, we started to fight and row.
Mhm.
Every night he'll go drinking. He will try when I decide that I want to go out. He'll started carrying on, and the fight and the stuff at night was just unbearable. Even for my kids. I didn't want them to, some nights, some mornings in school, they got to go to school. They sleeping in that, they have to call me saying they're sleeping in school because they wasn't getting enough sleep, because of the constant rowing and fighting and stuff like that. So I just decided again, hey, I can do my own thing. You doing your own thing, I can do my own thing too. And eventually, he basically he put me out, you know, and one of a friend, a close friend of mine, my sister, like, she came and she helped me pack up and I left, so here again now, there's another a broken relationship, you know,
Mhm.
until
Mhm.
until the next guy come along.
So you eventually divorced your first husband
Yes, I divorced him.
and you married for a second time. How old were you there?
I think I was about 30. I think I was in my 30s then when I got married again. Yeah.
So that whole period between 25 and the 30s, that window, you'd already left your husband. What was life like? Were you still doing you, as you say, just kind of trying to cope and take care of your kids?
Yeah, basically, I just started doing me. You know what I and basically like if he see me, it'll still be a row, or still be a little torment, or a little row and fighting in the road, and that was a lot. And then so I just basically still do my own thing, go partying, sleep with who I want to sleep with, to make sure my children got
Mhm.
food, pampers, milk, still basically doing what I have to do for them.
And you meet your, what are the circumstances under which you met your second husband?
Well, my second husband, I met him in Nassau. I was in Nassau at the time, and I met him in Nassau, and eventually when we finally got in a relationship, he ended up moving to Bimini and getting a job in Bimini. So basically, we was together, and then I decided to get a divorce.
How long did you stay with him?
With my second husband, I think that was we were married little off and on 2 years, basically, off and on, because
Mhm.
he was doing he started doing his own thing. He normally work on the key, and he'll tell me he on the key working when he'll be up in Bimini sleeping with another woman,
Mhm.
basically. So that was right then, that was another red flag right there, you
Mhm.
know. So
Did
basically,
you ever, did you guys ever just sit down and try to reason things out, talk things out?
yep, we'll talk things out, and I will catch him in a lot of stuff, and he'll say it wouldn't happen again, and every time he say it wouldn't happen again, it happens again and again and again and again, and then I started doing my own thing again. So
Mhm. So you eventually divorced him.
yeah, yeah, no, that one divorced me.
He divorced you.
He, di-
Okay.
he divorced me.
Okay. Well, was it something you were expecting?
We wasn't together. We wasn't together after he left. Basically, an incident happened that happened that I didn't want to deal with him. So I tell him, I say, either you leave Bimini or I leave. And he
Mhm.
said he said he wasn't leaving. So I packed up and I left, and I went to my sister for a period of time.
And this is in Nassau.
This was in Nassau.
Did you
And
take your kids with you or you left them in Bimini?
well, basically, no, I'll back and forth for a period of time. My second daughter was living in Nassau. Was living in the States. My son was living with his daddy. Yeah, my oldest daughter was living with my aunt, with one of my aunt. So
Okay.
basically, I was there by myself.
Okay. What as you after the second marriage, what's going on in your head? Were there any similarities, first of all, between the two husbands? Did you marry the same man twice, or these were distinctly two different men, two different personalities, etc., etc.?
Two different personalities because my first husband normally, even though he loved my children, he just wasn't a husband to me. He didn't know how to love me, and basically, even though he loved me, but he loved me in his own way. He didn't love me the way I wanted to be loved. you know
Hmm.
is a way that I know when, hey, this is right, this is what I need, this is what I want. And basically, even though he loved me in the way he knew how. But and then the second one, he was more of a player. Put it like that. He once he get couple dollars, he just do what he want to do. He feel like he could get any woman he want and do whatever he wanted to do. So you know
So why did you two get married? Why did you think you two got married? The second one.
well, the second one, I got married because I truly, I did love him. Even like I loved my first husband, I did love him, and basically I really wanted a father in my children's life. I wanted to be a family. I always believe in family, like I said, and my grandmother taught me. But family,
Mhm.
I never wanted to be the. I never wanted to get divorced. That's why I never married my second. Divorced my second husband, knowing that he was out there doing cheating with whoever he feel like cheating with. You know what I mean? And Bimini is a small place. You know what I mean? Everything just get out. And it was just depressing. What people telling me, oh, your husband doing this, your husband this way, your husband the next way. It was embarrassing. Because here
Mhm.
I am now in a second marriage, you
Right.
know, and basically you ain't trying to prove to people that, hey, I could be this husband to this woman or be the father to these children, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
basically, they were two opposite.
Two opposite
Like
people.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
So I'm gonna fast forward this story a little bit. So after you separate and eventually divorce the second husband,
Right.
what was your life like at that point?
Well, at that point, basically, um, I basically got in a later on down in doing what was doing. I went away like to my sister again, spent some time with her, came back, and when I came back, I got involved with someone else in another
Mhm.
relationship.
Okay.
Is
And what was that relationship like? And was this somebody? Was it a relationship that you thought would lead to
Yeah,
marriage again?
eventually, yes. Even though he was a few years younger than me, I felt
Mhm.
like, hey, this could work. Because we basically into the same things. We like partying, we like hanging out together and stuff like that. And I went again and put my all into that because one thing I always remember too, my grandmother told me, she said, you will never beat one man with another man's stick.
Mhm.
And every time I get another relationship, that come to me. You can't beat one man with another man's stick. So I'm just open up to another relationship. Another relationship. So now the guy that I end up with, we end up together, and I thinking that, this could be it, because he had his own house and stuff like that. So I figured this would be, hey, this it. This
Mhm.
where I know this one will work, but that didn't work out the way I wanted. So basically, we broke up. I left him, and later on down, couple months, I end up in a relationship with someone else. So now,
Okay. So throughout these years, though, you were having what we call the salvific experience. You were getting saved, like
yeah,
and like many of us, we had to get saved a few times, right?
yeah,
Before it stuck,
yeah,
right? So that's not uncommon at all.
yeah.
So while you were going from relationship to relationship, at any point in your consciousness, meaning your mind,
Yeah.
in your spirit, were you saying to yourself, or having some indicators that you can't be living like this? You know this is not
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Um, um, it so happens that around that time that I was doing all this, I I didn't got saved, but apparently a pastor came to Bimini. And I came to move to Bimini. He from Bimini and I moved into Bimini, and he came to the house that I was living at, and he was saying that, telling us how he opening up a church, and him and his wife and his kids. And
Hmm.
eventually I joined the church with him, and he took me on as his basically as his daughter, me and another sister that she died. But he basically mentored me, he had a rough time with me because I was messed up.
Hmm.
Literally, I was messed up. With a couple of people from the church, help out, and we'll basically sleep in the church, because that's how much he wanted to help us,
Hmm.
and I got saved. Um, and I love the Lord, but circumstances, I end up back in the world, doing
Hmm.
my own thing again, you know, and then, that go from there. And then I started partying again, drinking, then when I fall down and I hit rock bottom, I get up, go back in the church, he will mentor me again.
Hmm.
He would mentor me again, talk to me, make sure I had what I need. You know what I mean? Him and his wife will make sure that I'm good, and they'll talk to me. And I wanted to be saved, but it's just that it was a fight. It was a lot
What
of
do
things.
you think? What can you say now? What do you believe were the challenges why you kept getting drawn back into the same lifestyle over and over again?
Well, but basically, the lifestyle that I lived, and I think sleeping with the multiple men, I think it just was a lot of spirits that I now that I had to battle.
Hmm.
And basically the mind and the body, the mind saying one thing and the body wants to do its own thing. So it was a fight that I felt like I couldn't win. I couldn't win. It's one thing when someone is there to make sure you good right there and then, but when you have to be by yourself, this is
Right.
where I can't do this too hard. I go back to all the familiar stuff. I go back to what I knew all my life. All my life I knew to get drunk. I knew to have sex, sleep with man for money. That's what I knew.
Hmm.
It was familiar to me. So when I got saved and trying to get into something new, it was strange to me. You know, it was strange to me, and it wasn't as easy as I thought. Even though I wanted to change, you know what I mean, to give my children a better life, and so on. But it just didn't happen. It just
What about the kind of work that you did? What kind of work did you do?
Well, I was a bartender. I used to normally bartender was my thing, and then
Hmm.
either or cook. But bartender used to be my thing because I used to like entertaining the men. I used
Hmm.
to like making sure the men them good. Making sure they have fun. I have men to come to the bar and just tip me and sit up there all night, keep my company till the bar close you
Hmm.
know, just talking, we conversation, you know. Some will feel up a little, I'm gonna feel up and do your little thing. Hey, it wasn't no thing to me. It wasn't no thing. But I just was enjoying the company of the men. I more enjoy the company of the men and women, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
because some men they'll listen and hear you out, even though you know that hey, they only trying to have sex with you, you
Right.
know. I mean,
Hmm.
one or two might win or whatever, but that was my thing, just entertaining men. I just couldn't, just
Take it at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So let's go now to we're entering 2020 and the pandemic is
yeah,
about to the pandemic breaks out actually.
yeah.
You still working as a bartender at that point?
I was still working as a bartender, and I still had a job as a cook in a bar.
Okay. And then the pandemic comes, and now you're not working at all.
not working. And even before the pandemic hit, like in basically in February, um the Lord was really dealing with me. The Lord was really dealing with me. And I tried to shake it off by drinking, partying, but he just was just dealing with me. And I
Mhm,
told my coworker, I say next year can't, I say 2021 can't meet me like this.
mhm.
Because it was 2021. I said 2022 can't meet me like this. I said I had enough. I had enough trying to find love. I had enough just trying to make every man happy, whoever I would make them happy, but nobody was trying to do the same for me. Not the way that I knew I was looking what I was looking for.
Mhm.
So
And so
eventually,
it's 2020 now, and everything is shut down. You're in Bimini, and you're not working anymore, so you can't pay bills.
no, and
Um,
basically. So basically, I was living in an apartment, and just when the Lord really started to even though I wasn't saved, the Lord just was still dealing with me, because He told me my ex boyfriend used to come around. He said, "Man, why you don't just come move back in the house with me?" And I had like, no, I can't do this. And one day on a Sunday, the Holy Spirit said, go to church. And I told my co-worker, I said, I go into church. And when I went to church, a guy prophesied some stuff to me. So when I went back, I told my co-worker about it. I said, my ex-boyfriend asked me to move in with him. I said, but I don't know what to do. And the guy told me that in the prophecy, he told me that he saw me moving. But I thought it was off the island. But then one spell he
mhm,
said, off the island, and I saw you moving your stuff. And I said, you know what? It's like the Holy Spirit that just clicked to me, say it was February 29th. He said, go pack up your stuff. Not know what I said, pack up my stuff. So I pack up my stuff, went home, the apartment, pack up my stuff, and took him up to my ex-boyfriend's house. He didn't even know I didn't move in. I just took them there and I came back to work. And a week later or so, my boss said, but the pandemic came down. He said, we have to cut back on working. So I said, boy, I said, Lord, you something else. I said, good thing I moved from this apartment, because here it is now, no job. And the boss wasn't paying national insurance. I in 4 or 5 years too, no money. Basically I had ASU draw coming in, and I moved there with him, and oh my God, that was another disaster. Even though people was telling me, don't move. But I guess the Lord knew how to plan. Trust you me. That's
mhm.
when I know God had a
So
plan.
you're living with him, and you just know at this point that this was only a temporary situation. You just kind of
Exactly.
knew that. But you said it was disastrous in which way?
It was disastrous because right then the Holy Spirit basically was dealing with me. So it was a fight, it was time for me to just give it up, and then I'm living there with him, and he want to have sex, which, and I don't blame him, but he don't understand what I'm going through. You know what I mean? He don't understand what's going on with me. I was in a transition where the Holy Spirit, hey, time to give it up, you know, and basically the Holy Spirit was going because I was being tormented.
Okay.
I was literally being tormented, and many couldn't just. I was in the house, and many people couldn't understand. Only who I call and tell about it, you really, and at the end of the day, they still didn't understand what I was going through. I just was tired. Basically, I was just ready to give up. I was just sick of going through all the ups and downs, the back and forth, the relationship, the feeling used, feeling abused, it was just a lot.
Mhm.
I'll find myself just sitting home crying, crying, crying. And I was like, Lord, why me? Why me? Not knowing that God just had a bigger plan for me. I just
Mhm.
had to walk in it, you know.
And so, what brought that particular relationship to an end?
Well, basically, I just basically we were one night. He basically one night I stayed home and I was watching my gospel on TV. I've been doing, and you know, and I would repent every time at the end of every service. And they had services online, services this way. I'll repent every time. And when he come home, he'll basically will have sex, and basically I don't want it. I don't turn off from it,
Mhm.
and I always keep hearing in my head where I'll never forget the pastor used to tell me he made this comment years ago. He said, you just gotta be sick and sick and sick and tired. And at that point, I was sick and tired. He came home that night, and literally, we had sex. We had sex, and after he dropped sleep, I get up and I cry. I say, God, I can't do this anymore. I say, God, if you take me out of this and you keep me, I say the next man I have sex with could be my husband. And I say, and if you keep me, I'll run after you with everything in me. I'll run after you.
Mhm.
And throughout the whole process, it was a fight. I surrender. I give my life to the Lord. I cut out the drinking, cut out the partying, just stayed in the house because um, basically my friends and my friends then basically they wasn't after they found out that I changed my life or whatever, they wasn't really tuning in or whatever. So basically I had thank God for the online with my spiritual brothers and stuff and just
Mhm.
going after God, just going after the things of God, you know.
Mhm.
And eventually I say, God, me and the guys have a row every night, a row and a fight, a row and a fight. I not physical fight, but I just got tired. And I
Mhm.
said, Lord, I said again, I said, God, okay, I ain't sleeping with him. That was the last time I slept with him. I slept with him. I said, we were in the house, and how it is when a guy, I say and I save. He ain't safe. So
Right.
eventually he could keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And every time he come, I fighting him off. I fighting him off. And I said, God, how much longer I could do this?
Mhm.
Eventually he could win. And I lock up in that room for 3 days. I pray and I fast. For 3 days, I say, God, you gotta work for me. And I pour out myself to God and I cry. I kick up like a baby,
Mhm.
by myself and then me and the Holy Ghost, and he just ministering to me, working on me, and my boyfriend at that time, he would come in the house, and he started to sleep in the next room. So I
Okay.
saw God working. So he
Mhm.
started, even though we walking around in the house without speaking, I'll still cook for him and still do what I want to do, but I'm not gonna have sex with you,
Mhm.
and that was
How
a
long how long did that last? That period where you were in the house with him but not having sex with
real that last I the last time was in March. That was like 3 months because
him?
I left in June. I left. I asked. I petitioned God. I said, God, if you open up doors for me, my sister already told me. She said, Shanti, you said you come and live with me. I started to pack up my stuff. Didn't know when the airport was going to open up. Didn't know what was going on. And one day she called me. She said, I said, God, if you want me to leave this relationship, you'll open up this airport for me to get out of here. And
Mhm.
the following day, my sister called me. She said, Shanti, she said, the airport open. What you could do? I say, La Lord, I leaving. I done park and everything, give away what I had to give away. I
Mhm.
say, everybody telling me, you leaving this. I say, right now, I say I running for my life. I don't care. I left everything. The only I carry was enough clothes to last me until I get while I was in Nassau. And
Mhm.
God opened that door, and I end up leaving and went to live with my sister.
Yeah, your sister says all roads led to me. There are just
Yeah,
so many
yeah,
comments. And so you get to your sister because I want to get to the really great part of
okay,
this newlywed, this new
yes,
marriage and everything. So
yes,
you get into NASA, you finally get out of that relationship and you're in NASA living for a while.
yes.
And while you're there, what are you praying? What are you saying to God?
I'm there. I'm like God, because even before I left, Even before I left my boyfriend, my boyfriend, I wake up on a Sunday morning. I wake up on a dream. My grandmother, my dear grandmother, she came to me in a dream, and she was like, "What you gonna do? What are your?" She said, "What you gonna do?" And I was like what? She said, "What are your plans?" I said, "Mommy, the pandemic, money. I don't have no money." She said, "What are you gonna do?" She said, "Go." She said, "What about your papers?" I say, "My papers, because when I filed in the States or whatever, I just left everything." She said, "What about your papers?" I said, "Mommy, I didn't mess that up." I said, "I can't go back and finish it. I don't have the money or whatever." She say, "Go back." She said,
Mhm.
"Call your aunt." She said, "Call your aunt. Call your auntie to help you." She said, "Go back." And I woke up with the dream and confused. And I call my one of my aunts. I say, "I just had this dream with mommy. She telling me must go back. Say go back, go finish my papers." And she said to me, she say, "Shanti, I just told her sister." She said, "When you in the States, say you be safe. You really be safe. But the minute you go up to Bimini," she said, "it's be a pulling to you." And while we was on that call, I had another phone call coming in. I tell her, I said, "I could call you back." Lo and behold, it was the lady that morning that was doing my papers.
Mhm.
She said, "Shanti, I know it's early." She said, "But I calling you to tell you, like use my daughter." She said, "You need to come back and finish these papers."
Wow.
And I said, "Okay, Lord, I
So
hear you."
a dream that night, and
Yes.
tangible manifestation the
Yes,
following.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And being in my sister, we had our challenges and stuff like that. But I say, "God, this is my destination.
Mhm.
This is my destination. What you gotta open up some doors for me to get to my destination.
Mhm.
And a few weeks later, my daughter called. She said, "Mommy, I need you to come." She said, "I need you to help me with these children." And I was excited. I said, "But the airport closed." My sister said, "Shanti, no." Said the airport open. I called one of my friends or whatever, but the ticket was like $400. My daughter
Mhm.
she said, "Mommy, I need you to come. I'll pay for that ticket. You just come." And me again, I had to go through the clothes. I had the last bit of clothes I had. I had to go through that bag because you couldn't carry that big bag through customs. She
Mhm.
said, I give away the majority of my stuff. I left, and I came to the
So
States
when did you leave? When did you leave Nassau?
in August.
August 2020.
August
Okay.
20, yes.
Uh-huh.
August 20, yeah, 25th or 29th. Yeah.
When you left Nassau, what was on your mind?
Well, basically, I didn't know what the outcome was could be, because here I am going to the States with, with $100 in my pocket and one bag, one carry-on suitcase. So basically, all my clothes, everything I had throughout the years, I had to give away. Once again, I had to give away. So
Mhm.
basically, I enter in the United States with $100 on a bag on my shoe, on a bag that I'm pulling through.
Right.
So
And so you go to your daughter's house to help out
yeah,
with the grandchildren. But what are you thinking, like, is forever? This is now or never? Like, what's
yeah.
going on in your
Well,
mind?
in my mind, I knew. I say, "Well, Shanti, you're going in. You have to go and trust in God, because right now you can't depend on nobody. You don't leave everything behind. That's it."
Mhm.
I was like, "God, you have to come through for me. You have to come through, because I don't have nothing." And I really was more. I was more upset with God. I said, "God, I leave in everything. I leave in my grandchildren. I leave in my children. I leave everything behind. I don't have nothing. Basically nothing to work with. I don't know who. Basically, it's just my daughter now. And one thing with me,
Mhm.
I'm not a type of person that always depend on people. All my life, I was doing what I had to do to make sure
Sure.
I survive, or to help my children. Because even when in my struggles, I still doing trying to help my children, even with them being grown. So basically, my life on hold. You know what I mean? Because I basically trying to help them, and I was like,
Mhm.
"God, I say, I'm my children are grown, and I still, you know, doing for my children, mine and grandchildren. What with me? What with Shanti?
Mm-hmm.
And through
Mm-hmm.
all that, I continue to just go through, trust God, the good and the
Mm-hmm.
bad,
And
you
so
know.
you're there with your daughter, helping her with the kids and
Yeah,
everything.
yes, basically.
And what was that like? Considering you're not accustomed to being dependent on anybody,
It was
so yeah.
it was rough. I must say.
So
And many people mightn't know because it never showed. It never show on my face. I didn't call nobody complaining. And one thing I could say is with God, He always has a plan. Because my spiritual brothers, they know who they are. They were always there for me. My spiritual father, he was there for me, and basically other minister church I joined, they're from Bimini, so they was basically helping me from time after time,
mhm,
as much as they could do. But at the
right.
end of the day, it's still something missing, something lacking. God, this is it. What do you have? What do you have planned for me? What for me? You know, and it was frustrating.
Hmm.
Very frustrating. Cry nights, I cried, and I told God, and I was like, God, I prayed. I said, God, I need help. I say I need help. Where send somebody that is willing, to even show me the ropes and help me out. Even take me out on dates. Something. Let me know that
Hmm.
let me know that I still value. That I'm still important. Show me something. This
So
can't
was
be.
that the longest period in your life from August 2020 that you wasn't dating anybody like until December or something? Was that the longest period?
Well, basically, honestly, it was the longest period. That's the longest. Hey, I think it was
You
like
ever been without a man?
without a
Hmm.
man, without drinking, and
Hmm.
drinking and being with a man was me. I never see myself that this is the first time I was ever alone in all my life.
Hmm.
At 46 years old, the first time I was alone without a man, and that was hard.
Hmm.
It
So
was not.
you approaching. So how did you get through Thanksgiving? Well, we were still in the pandemic, so we
Yeah.
didn't have any gatherings. So what about Christmas? What was that like for you?
Well, Christmas was rough. Even though I was with my daughter and her kids, and I had my other family around, but everybody had their spouse. Everybody
Hmm.
had their husband, who had their husband, had their boyfriend. So
Right.
basically, I still was alone, even in the holidays. Even though my daughter would say, Mommy, can dress come go with us? I said, no, that y'all is family. Y'all do you all. And when she would go, they would go, I would be in our house wailing, crying. I said, God, this is the first Christmas I ever, and I was by myself. Christmas, New Year's, that was hard. It was very hard, and sometimes my spiritual brothers will call and say how things, and I'll tell them I can't do this. And then I have
Hmm.
another spiritual sister. She live in Nassau. She'll call and me and her talk, and I say I can't do this. She'll say she can't do it, and I'll be saying I encourage you, not tell her you could do this, because if I encourage her and I see her doing it, then I know I could do it.
Hmm.
While I'm going through, I'm encouraging somebody else, and I'm going through.
So you
And
get into the new year, January 2021. You
yes,
made it over.
yes,
Uh, wasn't the way you would have wanted to be, but this is where the story takes a turn. Yeah, like wow.
yes,
And you meet who is now your husband
yes, yes,
online.
yes.
Tell us about the connection, how that happened.
Well, this is where people is gotta, especially my most of my family that doesn't know, you know, I always feel like my family was more like, um, I some things I could tell them, and some things I feel like they'd be judgmental with, so
I think
basically,
that's in every family,
yeah.
though.
So
There are
basically,
certain things that you can tell to
right,
a particular
and
person, a grouping, and some things you can't tell,
yeah,
right?
and
So
I look
that's
at
not
my
abnormal at all.
I look at my family, even with being in the States, I look at my family and I saw them with their husbands, and that was always the life I wanted. I wanted to be in a long relationship for years with my husband, and but so every time I go when while I was in the States, they were more like a support to me because seeing them with their husbands, them whether they're rowing or not, hey, they still together. And
Right.
I would pray and I would tell God, this is what I want. And I went on, I pray and I told God, I said, God, send me somebody. I said, God, make sure he nice look. I said, make sure he nice looking. I said, make sure I meet him the same height. I said, God, make sure he ain't gotta be rich. Just give him a couple of dollars to make sure we good. You know what I mean? We could help one another. You know what I mean? I could work, he could work, we could build one another. And I said, God, one more thing. I said, make sure he good in bed. I went to God Pacific. You understand? When we pray in to God, you should go in there saying, God, I want a husband. And when you get this husband, the husband, he beating you. You know what I mean? He ain't doing nothing for you. You gotta be specific when you asking God for what you want. And that's exactly, I put my petition to him. And
So this is January
this was in this
2021.
yeah,
I want people to be clear,
yes,
like
this was in
really
okay,
clear on this story.
in January.
January
Yes.
2021, you're
I put
still
my
crying out to God. You want this mate, and you know exactly how you want him. You want him to be
yeah,
good looking. You want him to be your height. You want
yes,
him to be good and bad, uh, and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
And what happened? So how do you connect with this man?
Well, I normally I go on prayer in the mornings. I go into prayer in the mornings, and God literally will talk to me through dreams, or say or show me things. Even though He show me things with other people, and I tell them, God is showing me. God is showing me, and God showed me what He need from me. He showed me I fast, I prayed throughout the whole November, December. I fast, I pray, and God just was sending prophecy after prophecy, and which and I didn't understand. He's saying open doors, open doors. Oh, he's walk through, don't mind me, don't complain. And I was like, what you talking about? And I see nothing working out. And then one day God says, suddenly. He says, suddenly. And then he tell me, he say, I will do exceedingly above all of you can even think or imagine. He said, according to the power that working in you. And I just hold on to that. And then one day he said, them that say he who sow in tears will reap in joy. All these words, but I see nothing lining up. You know, and I come out of prayer one morning and the Lord allowed me to go online on Facebook. Normally I don't go on Facebook that early.
Mhm.
And the Lord allowed me to saw a friend from Bimini. And I saw underneath her status, I saw this name. So when I saw the name, I was like, you know, I called out the name. I say, and I just let's say call him. I calling him. I don't know his situation. I don't know where he is.
Where do you call him? Like you messenger called him, or
I
this is
messenger. The voice said, "Call him." I messenger call him.
okay.
And at first I text. I sent messages and I say, "Hey, what you saying?" Not looking for answer back, but apparently a quick response come. Hey, what you saying? And I basically I knew him from Bimini, like me, but we never had a connection, or we never had no word to saying like, oh, we were together, or we nothing.
Right.
Just knowing him from Bimini and know his family, mean his brother and his sisters, them close, And I haven't heard from this man in years. Haven't
Mhm.
heard from him. We started a conversation, and every day was a conversation.
This
It was
was January. What
January, January 29th.
So that's the end of the month. This is literally
January
and
29th. And we
yeah,
talked,
yeah, yeah. You have to hear this story, like seriously.
and we,
So January 29th, you reach out to this guy
yes,
and you not reconnect because you didn't really know him like that. But anyway, you start chatting and you're chatting with him and you find out what about him.
I found out even in our conversations and stuff like that, he would say, oh, I want to see you. I want to take you out. And I was like, take me out. I was like, well, I don't know how that happened, not knowing where he was, and I was like, I'll be talking to him about the Bible and talking about him and God. He talking to me about God, and he's saying he know only God got him. keeping him, not knowing nothing about him yet. And
Mhm.
he said, when I come out, he said, when I come out, I want to take you out. I said, come out from where? He said, I in jail. I said, well, when you come out of jail, I say, huh, I'll be then married and then move on. He said, no, I could be out in 14 days. And I was like, now, Lord, don't my last husband, been to jail. Now you bring another jail one to me. I said, this can't, I said, no, Lord. I said, this can't be what you got for me. I said, no, Lord. This ain't it. I said, God, if this you got to show me something. You got to show me something. And going down to the 29th, the first, whatever. He said he's coming out on the 14th. He said he was coming out on the 3rd of the 4th of February. So
Mhm.
he said he wanted to come and see me, and I told him, I said, no, get yourself straight, sort out with your children. He said, I still want to come see you. And this man was literally from the time I started talking to him, he literally talking to me see me as me. Because I always say, God, it's like when men see me, they only see sex.
Mhm.
It's like that's all they want. But he literally saw me. And he started talking to me and telling me some things. And I said, nah, he only saying these things because he wanna, you know. And he said, he ain't no sex because I've been there for 10 years. And then now sex. So that ain't it. He said, you're a beautiful woman. He said, and from I knew you was always striving and you try to help yourself. And we talk and we talk and we talk. And I decided, I said, you know what? I go see him. And I said, Lord, if it's your will for me to see him, I say, I don't have any money. I say, you have to open up some doors for me if this you. Because I said, God, I
Oh,
don't want.
no, slow it down now. So he said he was coming out February 4th. He
Mhm.
had already been in jail, in prison for 10 years. And what day, when is it now that you're saying you want to go and see him?
This was the 2nd of February.
Okay. So
And I,
before he came out.
yes, I book it. I say, God, I say, if this you have I don't have any money. I say you go open up some doors. And literally I knew sometime the devil is two things, but when the way I saw this, I said this can't be the devil. Because I was normally selling little food by my daughter's house, but it wasn't only my family was basically buying. And this time my daughter came. She came and she said, Mommy, people was calling me, asking me when I going to see you. Say, because they got one fish, they got conch, they want send for you. And when she come to that door, she came in that door with 2 cooler bags full of seafood.
Mhm.
I said, what? I said, okay, Lord. I say, if this you, I can sell all this. I season up everything, season up chicken, everything. I said, God, this was the week before. I said, God, a few days before I make up my mind to go, I said, God, if this you allow me to sell all these stuff. And literally all through the week, it was just one chicken and fries or whatever. But on that Saturday, I
Mhm.
saw my aunt came and her husband and they bought. And then man, look, my cousins them bought. Everybody going to chat. My family supported. Then the friends supported. And I was in that kitchen on my foot from them all day. When I
Mhm.
when I finished, I literally sell everything I had. And I made almost $400.
Mhm.
So I say, okay, I tell my daughter, like I said, book me a ticket to go to Atlanta. She said, what date? I say the 3rd. I say book it for the third. And she said,
Okay.
Mommy, this ticket only costs $30. I said, well, look at God. I said, book that ticket. I said, I go in the land. He had no idea I was coming. I called his brother and I said, listen, I say, um, me and your brother, I talking to your brother. I said I want to come up to see him, but he don't know. And I told him before I ask him, before I tell him, before we confirm me coming, I said, listen, I save. He said, yeah, I know you save. I say, what you think? I say, you think this is a good idea for me to come to see him because you know him. Let me know. I said, you know me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He said, Shanti, I ain't gonna lie. He said, my brother changed a lot. He said, my brother changed. He said, he changed. He said, and I think that if you in his life and you steer him in the right direction, he say it could work, you know. So I say, okay, I call his sister And all us talk, we decided that okay, I could come to be surprise him. I got up, I went, I came. His brother picked me up, and I said, what about I said, you all booked the hotel? He said, what hotel? So I say, for me to go, he say, we're not putting you in no hotel. So you come in here to stay with us by the house with me and my sister and my daddy them. And right then, I knew it was God because I don't know nothing but Atlanta. I didn't want to be in a hotel by myself. And then I didn't want to be in a hotel by myself when he come out because I didn't know, but he been in for 10 years, this man, and I had sex in 11 months. Now I say, now I ain't come here to mess up because I done promised God that the next man I sleep with will be my husband. So I was glad when he said that because when people around, you're accountable, So
Right.
so say that morning we went and we picked him up. He didn't know I was in the car. And when he hugged his sister, his brother, and he came in the car and he saw me, and it was like, oh my God.
So how were you feeling when you saw him? What
I
was
got
that?
I got butterflies. Everything on me was shaking. You don't think I see the president. You don't think I see you you don't think I see Obama them. I was literally shaking, saying what I could say to him. And what if he this? And I started getting the F on the what's and the what and his sister and his sister-in-law was like, you could be all right, man, you could be all right. And when I saw him and he saw me is like fireworks.
Mhm.
Just the way he hugged me, it was like he didn't want to let go.
Mhm.
He started to, his sister started to cry, literally tears coming out my eye, and it was like, oh my God.
Right, Shanti, I gotta roll this back.
Yes,
This is someone who you started talking to on January 29th.
yes,
By February 4th, you're meeting him.
yes,
Okay. And 10 days later, you're married.
yes.
Walk me from the 4th to the wedding date.
Well,
What happened?
we were by he stayed at the house with us, and it was like it was like a family reunion. It was so warm, it was so, man, it was just, oh, it felt like I still was with my own family. It was just, it was good, and we laugh, we talk, all night, talk, laugh, nothing sexual, nothing, no, nothing. We just talk, and and I was like, God, this feels so good to just have someone to laugh with and talk with, and and stuff like that. And it's like, I think it was later on down, on the ninth. No, okay, yeah, I think it's on the ninth that he decided, he went in the room and he was talking to his daddy, and he came out and he said, "You're the one." And I was like, "What you mean I the one?" He said, "My dad said you're the one."
Mm.
And I was like, "Wow." So I say, "But I after Valentine, I leaving." So he said, "I don't want you to go." I say, "Well, I save." I say, "I can't stay here like this." I say, "I can't stay here shacking up." I don't believe in shacking up. You know what I mean? I to a place where I feel like if you could shack up with me, you could marry me. That's
Mhm.
the point I was to. It's not that I was looking for another husband, but I just had a commitment I had to God that this time it could be different, because I see God in a different light. So I wanted to be faithful to God, even this time when people were saying it ain't gonna last. It only because of the pandemic. It only was this. People were just, they wasn't saying much, but they was watching. They mightn't
Sure.
comment they wasn't commenting on my post, but they were watching. And like
Yeah.
now, they watching.
Mhm.
So I said, God, you have to keep me.
227 of them, to be
Eh,
precise.
Yes, I
They
said, God, they're watching. They mightn't congratulate me. They mightn't say I'm proud of you, but they're watching because they're watching. Some just watching to say, huh? How again?
But I can tell you from tonight in these comments, there are so many people here who are cheering you on, who are saying that they're so proud of you. Yeah, it's just too many to actually read. So you on February 9th, he comes and tell his dad says you're the one.
Yes.
I still want to understand, like, what is your emotional state? Because like this stuff is happening like at warp speed.
I literally I was excited. My spirit was excited, definitely, because that was my main concern. How would I feel even in my spirit? My spirit was excited, and even when he asked me to marry him, I didn't hesitate.
When did he ask? Did he ask you to marry him that same
That
time
same night, that same night, and
on the night?
yes, and
Did you marry?
literally,
Did you wait a minute? Did you say yes right away?
I ponder a little bit, but I say, God, I say to myself, I say, God, if this you, I say, if this you gotta literally. I as a woman, I like to see signs. I
Mhm.
want to see signs that God, if this is you, you know, and even before getting to that, before I came to see him, this was on the third that night. Even I still asking God for signs. God showed me and him was walking on this road. It was a long road. Me and him was walking on, and I only knew where we was going because it was me and him, and he was going to he's going to his house, his dad house or whatever. We walking on this road, and on this road was a store. We basically stopped in the store. When we stopped in the store, he went to the cashier. I went to the clothes, and where I went to the clothes was I was looking at these bunch of girl baby clothes, and I was like, God, I said, it can't be me. I said, it dare not be none of my children. I said so, and literally I peep out on the side, and I saw him. I saw the cashier slipping him a wedding box, a ring box, and he put that in his pocket. I said, okay, God, I see that. I said, this you? I can see how this play out. And when I came here, I was telling my two sisters-in-law, now they are my sister-in-laws. At the time, I say I saw this cash in the dream give Felix this wedding ring, and I said I was looking at these baby clothes. And when I came here, come to find out, his brother wife was pregnant.
Mhm.
She didn't know what she was having. I say I dream. I was literally looking at girls' baby clothes. She said, "Well, I want a girl," and I keep telling her that could be a boy, even though I knew I was looking at girls' clothes, and come to find out it is a girl. And
So you see the ring in advance, and
yes,
so you kind of go there with the expectation that
I
I'm
just
gonna get a ring.
like this can happen. So I
Okay,
was I was like, Lord, if this can happen, this can happen before I leave. But I knew eventually, even if it didn't happen when I leave, I knew eventually
it will come.
as we work on the relationship, this what this man gonna do. I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting it to happen while I was up here.
So
No,
what happened? Let's get to the juicy part.
I mean it
So
was
on the night he gives you the ring.
no, we didn't have a ring. He just told me that the dream was the ring. The
Okay.
dream only showed me that he had this ring, but
Mhm.
literally he just told me, say, say, I don't want you to go. He say, let's say I want us to get married. So I say, you serious? He say, yeah. And he went on the thing, and I saw him. I said, what you doing? He say, I looking online. He say, I'm going to go follow our marriage license. I say, you serious? He say, yes. And he filled married license out. We had an appointment. We went to the appointment, and he was married before, but his wife, after he went to jail, his wife divorced him. And when we look, it was a little setback. The lady is like, you need to get your divorce papers out. And it was, I said, now, Lord, what you trying to tell me? I said, this could be a problem, you know? And I started to get a little upset. Man, look, we went down to the place in Atlanta. We got it. We got the papers. She stamped it and everything. And when I look, I had the license in my hand. And I was like, listen, I say, since we got this, I say, it's cheaper we have to do. So he said, you want to go get married now? Because then you could over here, you could get the license that day and get married that day. He said, you want
Mhm.
to do it now? So I say, if you want to do it now, he say, look online and find a place or whatever, and come to find I found the place, you know, and I called the place. The guy was like, "When do you want to get married?" I say, "Do you do walk-ins?" The guy was like, "Do you want someone to walk in on you on your wedding?" I say, "Well, I just want to know if I can just come now." He say, You have to set a date." And when I listen, I only hear the Holy Spirit say the 14th of February. And mind you, before when in January, before me and him got together, one of my friends, she sent me a picture with Valentine's Day with happy but selling Valentine baskets up. And I got upset. I said, "Listen here, don't you send me nothing to do with Valentine. I just getting over Christmas and I just getting over New Year's. I don't want nothing to do with Valentine. Nothing." And I was upset and cold with that. I said, "Don't do it." And lo and behold, the day that dropped in my head was 14th of February.
So, Shanti, in 2 weeks' time, basically, give or take a day, you went from being a single person
Yes.
who wasn't dating anybody to a married woman.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, and it confirms all the things that God was telling me, and it confirmed that everything the lady was prophesying to me. I mean, it was prophecy after prophecy, and I never saw none of this. I say, one day I went to church, and my aunt was like, "I hear congratulations to somebody. I see wedding." I said, "Well, it ain't me." I said, "It ain't me. I done been married twice, so I know it ain't me." Lo and behold,
It's
it
you.
was me. And when God said, and when and a lot of my family didn't understand, but when we decided to get married, the Lord said, "Move in silence." He said, "Move in silence." But because I know how my family go, I still came out and I tell them, you know what I mean? And I was a little more disappointed at at some of the reactions, even though I knew they meant well because they wanted
Sure.
to be part of it. But the Lord say,
Shanti, come on, let's be real. 2 weeks.
"Yes,
two
love at first."
weeks.
You
That
know,
is
you
that
ever
is
married?
not normal. So people would have questions.
You ever
They would
married?
be
You ever see?
concerned.
You ever watch Married at First Sight?
Of course, but that's TV. This real life with you. 2 weeks, I'm just saying that kind of stuff is not normal. That's abnormal. So I would anticipate that your family would have been
Yeah, and
reluctant,
I
would have had
but
questions, and I believe that's quite normal, quite
and
fitting.
I understand, but it's just that I didn't have two marriages, and they were there.
And
My children were there. I was just like, hey, I don't need no big attention. I just want to
sure.
do this. And lo and behold, I ordered a simple dress because I didn't want nothing flashy, nothing. You know what I mean? And come to find out, when it was that Friday, the wedding was that Sunday, that Friday, what the dress I ordered that didn't even reach. And I started to say, "God, this is you." And my sister-in-law, she said, "Order another dress." And I said, "Man, I ain't gonna go through all of that." So me, and my other sister-in-law, we went out, we looked for a dress. And we couldn't find nothing that I wanted simple. But see, God didn't want me to have simple. God wanted me to have something nice. So even when I booked the place, the guy was like, it only was a walk-in chapel.
Mhm.
Get married and go. I watched while I was in there. I watched two people walk in, and he married them to the door. But here it is. I had the jump in the broom, the cake, the people, his family there. I had it on. It was on live. I had a dress that I never liked red. People know I always thought red was FNM. So I never liked red. But my sister-in-law talked me into it, and
That's
she said,
hilarious.
"Yeah." She talked me into it. She said, "Quick, go try the dress on." I said, "This dress too big. This is size 16." She said, "Try it on." But I was more reluctant because it was red. And
Mhm.
when I put that dress on, that dress just slipped on me. And I only had the Holy Spirit say the blood of Jesus. And even though I knew I was getting married, I still didn't just do things without consulting, someone. I called my spiritual father, my father,
Mhm.
and I let him know. I say, he asked me first. He say, you're in Atlanta with this boy. He said, "Listen, yeah, I don't want no foolishness. He still was more concerned about my soul. And he was
Right.
like, I will make sure you stay on track. He said, I can't lose you. I can't let you go back. And he talked. So he ended up talking to my fiance, put it like that. And he let him know that, hey, that's my daughter. And I will make sure that you handle her with care. And he assured him, he said, listen, he said, I can take care of you. He said, trust me. He said, and I promise God I'll take care of her. And right
Mhm.
then I was like, oh my God, and
So it's 2 weeks later, almost 2 weeks or so. Actually more than that,
mm,
but almost a month.
mhm.
How are you feeling? Like,
I'm
is
feeling
this different than the other two, and how is it different?
very different because listen, it's like, it's nothing that basically that he wouldn't do to try to make sure I happy. Even he know when the hours he have some of the late hours at work, he be to work sometime from 10 in the morning till 2 a.m. and he know that I'm home and he'll make sure just sneak off from his job and call me. And Miss Duncombe, you all right? I love you. I appreciate you, and I thank you for praying for us and covering us. And it's just that is it more to me with the other man. It was like no appreciation. It was like
Mhm.
whatever I do, you gotta do. But to him is more of an appreciation. You
So you
know,
feel valued. You feel
yes,
valued.
yes. He'll say, boy, if you're so beautiful, he'll tell me, and I figured I will just been about the sex. Nothing to do with that. Nothing. Because we're newlyweds and hey, I figured we would have been rolling around and it's more of connection, still trying to get to know one another, know what one another like. And I asked another day, I say, if there's anything about me you want me my attitude or anything you want me to change, he said, no, baby, say, you're perfect. I say, wow. He said, he is nothing I
I gotta check back on you a year later and see if you're still talking like
yeah,
this.
yeah, check on
Yes,
me.
check
Because
on you.
I know people saying, oh,
Oh
that's what's
my
happening
God.
first. But at the end of the day, in my other marriages and now is at the end of the day, my focus is still on God. At the end
Mhm,
of the day, my focus is still on God. And there's nothing that God hasn't shown me that He wouldn't do for me. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And just like He said, no good thing but I withhold from them that walk upright. As long as I stay faithful to God, God can make
I
sure
mean, look at that.
He can
Mhm.
make sure I good. He can make sure we good. He can make sure that we don't care what come our way, how the boat rock. You know what I mean? We just go work. You know?
Wow. So listen, I have gone well over time. We usually stop at 9:30,
Yes.
but this has been such an engaging and phenomenal conversation. Like I told you guys, you're going to be shocked, you are going to be encouraged, and you are going to be inspired. If anybody doubts that LaShanti Bain-Duncombe is now walking in the favor of the Lord,
Yes,
I
Jesus.
don't know what rock you're living under. LaShanti, I'm so
Yes.
glad that you swerved with me tonight. I'm
Yes.
so
Thank
glad
you.
that
Thank you.
you shared your testimony. You'll have to read the comments tomorrow or something because
Yep.
there's
Yep. I
way
will.
too
I
many.
will.
Many thank you. You guys showed up in like
Yes.
big
Thank you
numbers
guys. Thank
tonight
you
to hear
guys.
the
Thank you
story.
guys.
And I'm
Yes.
sure that she's made you proud. And more importantly, she's made God smile.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Jesus.
much.
Yes.
Thank you so,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you
So,
too,
Miss
Miranda.
Earthly, having laryngitis and all the other stuff that's going on, it was so worth. I was determined we were going to have this conversation
Yeah.
tonight.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being not just transparent, but being a light. Because somebody, I glanced through one of the comments and they was like that glow, and it was like they want that glow. Thank you so much for being a light.
Yes.
Thank you for being that
Yes.
inspiration to
Yes.
somebody out there
Thank God.
who may
Thank
be
God for glory.
contemplating a sudden move
Yes. Trust
and
God.
they may be a
Trust
little
God.
apprehensive about doing it.
Trust
But the
God.
bottom line is you can trust God. If He
Trust
spoke
God.
it, it'll come to
Yes.
pass.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
bottom line. So, good night to everybody. Y'all
Good night,
send some good night.
everyone.
Let LaShanti know you love her, you appreciate her, and thank God for her life. Keep praying for her.
Yes, keep
Because,
in prayer.
all of us know that whenever we expose ourselves in our lives, the enemy comes back
Yeah.
with backlash, but we cancel the plans of the enemy right now in the
In the
name of
name of
Jesus.
Jesus. Yes.
And
Thank you, Lord.
Letty Roll and Bishop Chester. Listen, too many people. She's like, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
Genovia says you're married for life.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
Keisha
Yes,
Dean
Lord.
says, blessing friend. I mean, listen, hundreds of people, they're cheering you on. You just got to
Yes.
say it. I
Yes.
answer all of them. Thank you so much for being with
Yes.
us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
I
guys for
appreciate it. Thank
serving with
you.
me. I'll
Thank you.
see you guys again next week. Hopefully,
Bye.
my voice will be better with another wonderful story
Yes.
about somebody who's overcome their challenges. Good night,
Yes.
everybody.
Good night.